Okay. Okay. So once again we're going to start our class today, and the class is going to be on confusion. My right, help me out, guys. Division and destruction. So we're going to start it off once again. We had actually started confusion last week. We didn't get a chance to finish it, but the Most High does things for certain reasons that we have to look at and find a positive in that, right? So we're going to go back a little bit on confusion. We're going to come back forward. We should be finishing division today. Okay? Let's get started here. We're going to go to, everybody got the script, Jeremiah? Jeremiah 17, verse 9. Jeremiah 17, verse 9.
Jeremiah 17, verse 9.
Yes, sir.
The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?
So we talked about that last week. Anybody remember anything we said about that last week? Anybody remember anything we said about the heart? The heart being what?
Desperately wicked. Deceitful above all things.
So we're saying deceitful. Deceitful means that you receive something one way, but it actually being done for a different reason. Yes, ma'am.
When we talk about that, we're talking about emotions.
Yes, emotions and stuff like that, right? Because we can emotionally. Oh, go ahead. I'll wait to finish.
Well, no, I was about to say,
Go ahead.
people like to work out their feelings. That's the same thing with emotions.
Yes. They like to work out their feelings.
Yeah, you got
But that's right. You're right. Right on point. That's really on point. I like that. Yes, ma'am.
We also talk about something that needed, so it's in his heart when it's done.
Exactly. So we looking, our feelings come from where? It comes from the heart, right? No matter whether it's right or wrong, we feel desperately that what is in our heart is what it is. So however we act or however we do things, right, can give off a sense of deception. Because you can be a family member of mine, and you can want something that's against anything that we do here at our division, right? But because I love you, and you come to me with a request, through my love, I might slip a little bit, and I might let you have it, right? But I might violate in the process. Whereas that if I take my mind and I think about it, right, and I ask myself good questions, not any question, but good questions. What is good, positive questions that we ask ourselves? We have to ask ourselves positive questions, good questions, especially when we're making a decision that has something to do with what? With our salvation. Right? Yes, ma'am.
So the church, they used to always say, what would Jesus do? But in our case, we can ask what Yahshua do, but also what's according to the word.
Exactly. Is it according to the covenant? Is this actually according to the covenant? Is it according to everything that we stand for as Israel? Right? And when we get our answer, we should get a good answer, because that is a good positive question. Right? That's a good positive question. Is that something that's according to my what? Covenant that I have with the Most High? The covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because the new covenant hadn't came yet. We just established that, didn't we? We read that and established that. So now, with us knowing that the new covenant hadn't came yet, when we deal with the covenant of Abraham, that came between Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, I need to slow down a little bit, we must know what that covenant is, right? But through our love, we can violate that covenant in love, right? In love. And that's what? Our feelings, right? Because, I don't know if I talked about this last week or not, that I was invited, my family was invited out to a dinner. And we went to that dinner, right, just to recap. We went to that dinner because they said it was just a dinner. And this was freshly in our walk as being Israel. And we knew that we weren't supposed to go to, I think, an Easter dinner. But we said, okay, well, you said it's just a dinner. It was happening around that same time of Easter. We said, okay, we'll go, right? Everybody eating dinner and everything going really good. And the person that invited us said, this is the best Easter dinner I ever had. We'd have been like, what? So we were deceived, right? But we didn't pay attention, and we didn't look at that this is the same time of Easter, right? You see what I'm saying? Right. So we got to look at the clues. It's the same time of Easter. Why would I go? So they tell, so family will tell you, oh, it's not Christmas dinner, but we know it's around Christmas time. Y'all just come over and eat dinner with me, and it's fine. Through the love that we have for the connection that we have with our families, we'll say, it's just dinner. Okay, I'll go. We'll go. You load up the family, you go over there, right? And then you get there, and you find out that they start passing around gifts. Right? So now you've been deceived by through love because you love your family and you went there. That's why scripture, one of my favorite scriptures, and one of the things I like to really press forward with is what? Is what? Abstain from the appearance of evil. If it looked like it might be something evil, stay away from it. You don't want, even though in your heart you might think something else, it might mean something else to you, right? But when you do it, how do it appear to everybody else? Because see, you're supposed to be a light. But you appear to other people like you really celebrate a holiday. Yes, ma'am.
When you stand against the world and the system, the world tries very hard to pull you back in.
Yes, they do.
And they look forward to you falling, which is deceitful.
Right. With the sense of what? Deception.
Right, so we need to always be on guard.
Exactly. You always want to be on guard. Why? Because you're guarding your salvation. You are guarding the covenant that you have with the Most High. You should always, don't worry about it, we'll put $10 in the jar. But you're violating, I'm just joking. So we got to guard the covenant that we have, because that is the most precious thing that we have on this earth, is our covenant that we have between us and the Most High. Right? It could be anything. It could be another brother that you know has violated the covenant, right? And you have to stay close with that. You know what I mean? Okay, did one of y'all brothers have something? No? Okay.
Just to go along with what you're saying, there's nothing wrong with feelings, meaning that the Most High has feelings. We got our feelings from Him.
Yeah.
But just as He has feelings, just like the shortest verse in the scriptures is Jesus wept. You know what I'm saying? Well, Yahushua wept. The Most High has feelings. Yahushua has feelings, but they're not directed by those feelings. They're directed by the covenant. They're directed by what the most important thing. So, like you said, it's just those things we have to watch our own selves so we don't deceive ourselves.
Exactly. Because and at the end of that script in 9, Jeremiah 17:9, it said, "Who can know?" Right? Who can know when they're actually being deceived and pulled into something wicked? Because they're going to paint you a picture that is one thing, and then you get into that one thing, you begin to believe that one thing, you begin to live that thing, but then you find out later that that thing is wrong when you research. Right? That's why we have to be really, really careful with that, right? And the 10th verse says what? So everybody just came in, we're in Jeremiah 17, we read 9 and 10. If you don't have a book, a Bible, we can get one for you. King James Version. We've already did the 9th verse, we've gone into the 10th verse. Okay? Okay.
Jeremiah.
One sister, they could one for you. I'll show them that way you know where they are.
So we're at Jeremiah 17, verse 10. I, Yahuwah, search the heart.
You see that? Say it again.
I, Yahuwah, search the heart.
He searches the heart. So by him saying that he searches the heart, that means that he's searching you on a what? On a plain, straight basis of who you are. You cannot deceive him. He knows it. Well, I think that scripture's coming up. Yeah. I tell you what, I'm not going to say that. Go ahead and drop down. We got to understand Ezekiel 11 and 5. Can somebody give me that? Ezekiel 11 and 5. But we got to know that the Most High, Yahuwah, has a direct connection to your heart. He has a direct connection. He can search your heart, right? But other people can only search your mind, or they can research what you have said. But he has an idea of what you're saying before you have even said it. Right? So, man, that's something we have to know. That's not something we have to think. That's something we have to know. Because when it's something you know, you stand firm on it. When it's something you think, you waver. We got to know that he searches the heart. What you got, brother? Who got it? Anybody see what y'all have? Huh?
Ezekiel 11:5.
Yeah, read that for me.
And the Ruach Yahuwah fell upon me,
Ezekiel is talking. He said that the Ruach fell upon him, and what happened?
and said unto me,
What did he say?
Speak,
Uh-huh.
thus says Yahuwah.
He said, you go ahead and speak. And what?
Thus have he said, O house of Yasharel,
Uh-huh.
for I know the things that come into your mind.
You see that? He knows what come into your mind. He knows what come, whether it's force-fed into your mind, or if it's something that you think of your own. He knows what comes into your mind. What?
Every one of them.
Uh-huh. He said, every one of them.
Ye have multiplied your slain in this city,
Uh-huh.
and ye have filled the streets thereof with the slain.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore thus saith Adonai Yahuwah,
Mm-hmm.
your slain whom ye have laid in the midst of it, they are the flesh.
Okay. So we're going to stop right there, right? But we got to understand that he already knows every thought. Right? So yeah. Is he judging you on that? Of course. Come on, I don't think he's not. There'd be no purpose for him not to know it. Right? That's why it's important that we keep our minds where they need to be. We keep them afloat. We keep them straight. We keep our minds set on what? What should our minds be actually set on? I can't hear one loud. Talk to me like you're talking to a deaf person. But one of my ears is not good. The law. That's right. Okay, the law is good. I think we can go a little bit farther than just the law. What did my brother say?
Kingdom.
That's right. According to Scripture, it's the kingdom, right? It says, you seek ye the kingdom first, and everything else will be handed unto you, right? But if you seek the kingdom, what would you keep? And what else? Say it. And the covenant. And the covenant. Most important. Greatly important. Because if you're keeping the covenant, you're keeping the law. If you're keeping the covenant and the law, then you're seeking the kingdom. Right? Acts 19. Acts 19 and 21. Now listen, we're talking about, we're dealing with right now confusion, right? Because we do know that who's not the author of confusion? Yah is not the author of confusion, right? So we have to, if the name of this lesson is confusion, division, and what? Destruction, we have to deal with confusion first, because destruction does not come without what? Confusion. It does not come without what? Division. When you see confusion, you know the Most High has nothing to do with that. He's not in that. Right? Acts 19, verse 21. Acts 19, verse 21.
Acts 19, verse 21.
And read, my brother.
After these things
After these things
were ended,
Uh-huh.
Paul purposed in the Spirit, when he had passed through Macedonia
Uh-huh.
and Achaia,
Uh-huh.
to go to Jerusalem, saying,
Mm-hmm.
after I have been there, I must also see Rome.
Mm-hmm.
So he sent into Macedonia 2 of them that ministered unto him,
Uh-huh.
Timotheus
Uh-huh.
and Erastus. But he himself stayed in Asia for a season.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hold
the
tight right there for me, brother. I want y'all to look at something right here. Y'all see the board? Macedonia, what we're talking about right now, Macedonia was right there, or Ephesians, actually. Ephesians is actually a part of Turkey. Right? Do you all remember him talking about the churches of Ephesians? Huh? Laodicea? Right? The 7 churches? That's what the 7 churches was. Right there. That's what the 7 churches was. Right there. So now we look at now, in the modern day right now, it's called Turkey. Right? But who would have thought that? Right? But what he's saying about these churches and everything he read about those churches is this right here. Is that everybody is going to copy something from those churches and begin to live it or teach it. There's some going to be lukewarm, right? And church is going to teach to be lukewarm. They're going to have all the praise, but they ain't going to have no word. There's some going to have all word and no praise. Right? There's some that's going to be just deceitfully wrong. They're just not going to care. They're just going to do what they do. Right? They're going to tell you to come and worship on Sunday when he says Saturday. Right? Listen. Count to 7.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
How old are you?
6.
We got a 6-year-old that just counted to 7. Why can't grown people count to 7? Why? I'm really serious. I don't see it. It breaks my mind. It just breaks me down that a grown man can't count to 7. Sabbath actually is the name for the 7th day. Right? Out of all the days that he created, he only named one day. Right? It's like somebody giving you 7 things to do, and out of all 7 things he do, he named one. He gave a name to one. And you can't remember that one thing that he gave a name to. But the reason why the Ten Commandments said, remember the Sabbath, because he knew it was going to be forgotten. That's why it was said that way. Okay? Next slide. So, the churches that they had, this is the only thing over there in Turkey that remains. This is the only thing that remains in that building, right there. Right? It's the only thing that remains. That's something that you can possibly see in this hour. Out of all that they had, that's the only thing you can possibly see in this next. That's there. Next slide.
And you can kind of see that it was kind of regal.
Right.
It had some type of value during that era.
So if you look at it, it has the great columns. It has all the significant designs in it. It was so great, right? It was like, what you say, brother? Yeah, it do have that Roman look. It had that gaudy look. You can walk in people's houses and you see gaudy stuff and you say, hey, they got money, right? But it has that gaudy look, okay? Next slide. What did that remind you guys of? Huh? What else?
Baseball field.
Huh? Talk loud.
A baseball field.
That's good too. You write baseball field. We got to speak loud so we can hear. Especially if you're coming from the county.
Coliseum.
Huh?
Coliseum.
Yeah, the Coliseum. Go ahead.
It looks like a gladiator.
Arena, like somewhere they had the gladiators, am I correct? That's right. But it's a big thing that nobody has said yet, I don't think. Yeah, go ahead. Well, soccer, I don't know, maybe they probably, there's somewhere in this world that's into soccer so much that it looks like that. And it definitely people want to show up. Here. Everybody hear this right? Say it again.
It look almost like what the Muslims go. You know how they got
Oh, around the rock.
Yeah.
Around that stone that they, stone that they worship? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, like when they kill people and lions eat people and all that.
Like when Daniel went out and Daniel experienced being in the lion's den, right? But the one significant thing I haven't heard yet, what?
It kind of reminds me of this
Bam! That's what I'm telling you right there. If you look at TD Jakes, and I hate to call names out, man, I'm sorry. But that was one right there. It looked just like those places that they teach the word in today. It's the same exact thing. If you look at it, right, it's just indoors. Right, look at it. Come back. Come back. Like the other time, look at it.
They got AC now.
Today they got AC. But I know that all their concubines and their slaves are glad of that because when they was out here they had to fan them with big feathers. They stayed hot, but they kept them cool. Right? So I know that they're glad that that's no longer in existence, right? We're going to go forward. Where you at, brother? Who's just reading for me? You read Acts and you went down and you hit 13, so you're at 22, so hit 23 for me right quick.
Verse 23.
So now let's think about this before you read. Acts, reason why the book is named Acts is because these are things that actually took place. And they put them in place for us to read these things, to get to understand these things, because there's nothing new under the sun. Okay? Read, my brother.
Verse 23.
Verse 23.
And the same time there arose no small stir about that way.
Read.
For a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, which made silver shrines for Diana, brought no small gain unto the craftsmen, whom he had called together with the workmen of like occupation, and said, Sirs, ye know that by this craft we have our wealth.
Hold tight. Right? So, of course, this guy Demetrius was a craftsman, right? Craftsman. Right? And what he did is he made shrines out of silver and gold. Right? And we don't know whether the guy was, I'm pretty sure he might not have been white, but it's a possibility he was. This is the only picture I can find. So, this guy, he made shrines, but look at the shrines. Those are those false gods that he made, right? So this one right here. Now I'm trying to pay close attention to that area right there. Pay close attention to that once you get a bigger picture. Okay? He made these shrines, but that was his way of making a living. It's no different than those guys out there that preaching you prosperity, because that's their way of living. There's some that teach prosperity that say, I know that we're the true Israelites, but they still teaching people that we're Gentiles. Why? Because the money is in them saying we're Gentiles. Plus they probably got a 501(c)(3), and with a 501(c)(3), you can only teach so much. Go ahead.
It just makes me think of how today they make crosses.
Exactly.
And a lot of people wear the cross.
Not
gold,
realizing.
silver, big diamonds, all kind of decorations on it.
Exactly. And inside the and I don't want to, but they don't want to do it anyway. It's good to me inside the Kajic world, or in the preacher's world, the bigger the cross with the most diamonds and jewels on it is supposed to be the better you are at what you do. No, you're just a bigger deception. That's all. You're just a bigger deception. That's all you are. You're just deceiving people more and more that if you can afford this big cross, that the most, I'm not going to use the word most high. Their small G-O-D, right, is blessing them so well that if you do what they do, you're going to be blessed too. And the people not realizing that they are the one that bought the cross. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Romans 16.
Romans 16, read loudly.
Romans 16, 17, and 18. Now I beseech you, brethren,
Yes, sir.
mark them which cause divisions in the vision,
You came out of that, didn't you?
contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. 18. For they that are such serve not our Adonai, the Yahushua HaMashiach, but their own belly.
So, go ahead, my brother.
And by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple.
Right there, don't it? You don't even much follow up on that, do it. That's it. That's it. Case in point. Right? That's it. So now, if you can give me, go back and hit 25 again, brother. There.
Verse 25, Acts chapter 19, verse 25.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Whom ye have called together with the workmen of like occupation.
He called together all those ones that made shrines and that made the that worked with their hands as craftsmen.
And said,
What do you say?
Sirs, ye know that by this craft we have our wealth.
He said, y'all know this is how we make our money. This is how we take care of our families. Read.
Moreover, ye see and hear that not alone at Ephesus, but almost throughout all Asia. This Paul has.
This Paul. They marked Paul. They thought they were marking him for something bad, but in all actuality, they were marking him for something good. This Paul what?
This Paul has persuaded and turned away much people, saying that they be no gods, which are made with hands. So that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised, and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia and the world worship.
Hold tight. So y'all see that? Y'all see that right there, right? That's the one they're talking about. That's the Diana one, right?
Esther, what they call it?
Esther?
Esther.
No, that's Diana. That's Diana right there. They got so many of them. But that's Diana because there's something significant about this right here. Right? Do anybody know what that is? Say it again.
Rest.
Keep going.
Hold tight. Hold tight. Hold tight. Hold tight. Hold tight. Hold tight. Read brother 28.
And when they heard these sayings, they were full of wrath, and cried out, saying, Great is Diana of the Ephesians.
Read that 29th verse.
And the whole city was filled with confusion, and having caught Gaius, and Aristarchus, men of Macedonia, Paul's companions in travel, they rushed with one accord into the theater.
Hold tight. They rushed with one accord into the theater because, see, Paul had stirred up something. Paul told him that's a false god, right? But if you look at this picture that we put up here on the projector right here, right? They all got this god of confusion. But look at how many false deities they have out there. Look at them, right? But these people here are so upset they have such, because Paul is teaching them one thing, and this guy's coming and saying, look, he got together with all the people. It's just like if he had a big plumbing convention. I said, look, man, they come out with this new plumbing.